Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to start with a new chapter, that is chapter number 6, Basic Concepts of OOPS. The weightage of this chapter is 6 marks, that is 1 mark 1 question and 5 mark 1 question. So in this chapter, we are going to study about the concepts of objects, classes and other terminologies, as well as the advantages, disadvantages and the applications of OOPS. So let's get into the chapter. So in 1980, C++ was developed by John S. Tostrup in AT&T Bell Labs. In C++ is an increment operator, so the increment to C is OOPS. Hence we can say that C plus OOPS is equal to C++. Originally C++ was a pre-compiler just like a C preprocessor, which converts the source code into plain C code, which is then compiled by the normal C compiler. Next is programming paradigms. So what are programming paradigms? Programming paradigms are the way to classify the programming languages based on their features. In programming paradigms, there are of two types. The first one is procedure oriented programming and second one is object oriented programming. In procedure-oriented programming, it mainly concentrates on procedures rather than data. In this, programs are written with one or more procedures and each procedure performs its specific task. Here, data is openly shared from one procedure to another procedure. So, this employs top-down programming paradigm. So high-level languages like Fortran, Pascal and C follows this type of programming design. When it comes to drawbacks of procedure-oriented programming, the complexity increases as the program size grows larger and larger and it does not model real-world entities. So to overcome these drawbacks, the concept called OOPS came into existence. In OOPS, it mainly concentrates on data rather than procedure. In this, programs are divided into number of entities called objects. Here, data is not openly shared from one object to another object. If one object wants to communicate with another object, with the help of functions, we can communicate with each other. So this employs a bottom-up programming model. So high-level languages like C++, C#, Python and Java employs this type of programming model. So this is about the paradigm, programming paradigms and its types, that is procedure-oriented programming as well as object-oriented programming model. Yes, the next concept is basic concepts of OOPS. The following are all the characteristics of OOPS. The first one is objects. What is an object? An object is a real world entity. It can be a place, a person or anything. An object is a collection of data members and member functions. It's a collection of data members and member functions. An object is a collection of data members and member functions. Each object must be identified by a unique name. Each object must be a member of another class. So this is about objects. Next is classes. What are classes? A class is a collection of objects having same features. So once you create a class, we can create any number of objects to it. An example for classes are planet, sun and moon are all the members of the class solar system. Abstraction. What is abstraction? Data abstraction means hiding the inner details from the user. For example, buying a car in a showroom. If I want to buy a car, what are the features we are going to see, whether it is a diesel one or petrol one, or based on the company or based on the color, or whether it is having a airbag or not. So nobody is going to bother about how the car has been manufactured and how the parts of that car has been integrated or not. So this is the inner details of the car which is hidden from the manufacturer to the user. So this is called as data abstraction. Next, encapsulation. It combines data and functions into a single unit called class. The direct access to the data is not possible. Access the data through the members present inside the function, we can access the data, and thus it provides data security. Next, polymorphism. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism means taking many forms. For example, addition, we can use to add addition function to add two integer numbers, or to add two floating point numbers, or to concatenate two strings. So based upon the situation, it is going to add the numbers. So hence that is called as polymorphism, that is taking many forms. Next, inheritance. What is inheritance? Inheritance means acquiring the features from one class to another class is called as inheritance. So in inheritance there are of different types. The first one is single level inheritance. What is single level inheritance? Single level inheritance means acquiring from only one base class. The example for this is father and son. So this is single level inheritance. So here father is the base class and son is the deriving class. So here son is inheriting the features from his father, so hence son is the derived class. Hence it employs one-to-one relationship. Next type of inheritance is multiple inheritance. What is multiple inheritance? So here in this inheritance, it's a mechanism in which one class is deriving the features from two classes, or more than one class is called as multiple inheritance. So in multiple inheritance, it's a mechanism in which the derived class is inheriting the features from more than one class is called as multiple inheritance. Here son is a derived class. Here son is inheriting the features like beauty from his mother and intelligence from his father. Hence son is the derived class. Mother and father class are the base classes, and this employs many to one relationship. This employs many to one relationship. Next is multi-level inheritance. It's a mechanism in which one class is inheriting the feature from another derived class. See this example, grandfather, father and son relationship. Here son is inheriting from the class father and father is deriving the feature from his father. So here grandfather is the base class and father is the derived class. So from this class we are going to inheriting the feature, that is son. Hence son is the derived class here. So here son is inheriting the features like intelligence from his grandfather and beauty from his father. So this is called as multi-level inheritance. And next type of inheritance is hybrid inheritance. What is hybrid inheritance? In hybrid inheritance, the program design requires two or more forms of inheritance. Either it may be multi-level and multiple inheritance, or hierarchical and multiple inheritance. For example, grandfather, father and son. So in this example, son is inheriting the feature like intelligence from his grandfather, beauty from his mother and bravery from his father. So this employs multi-level as well as multiple inheritance. Next is hierarchical inheritance. Yes, this is hierarchical inheritance. It is a mechanism in which the features of one class is inherited by more than one class, and it employs one-to-many relationship. So this is about inheritance and its types. Next is dynamic binding. What is dynamic binding? It is a process of resolving the functions to be associated with a function call at runtime is called as dynamic binding. Next is overloading. What is overloading? Overloading allows the objects to have different forms. So based on the context. In overloading, there are of different types. That is, first one is operator overloading, and second type is function overloading. So what is operator overloading? In operator overloading, when an existing operator operates on new data type, it is called as operator overloading. When it comes to function overloading, in function overloading, two or more functions having the same name but differ in the number of arguments or with the data type of the arguments. So that is called as function overloading. Next is message passing. What is message passing? In object oriented programming model, everything is in the form of classes and objects. So if one object wants to communicate with another object with the help of message or the functions, it can communicate with each other. So here message passing involves the name of the object, the name of the function and the information to be sent. So this is about the characteristics of OOPS. And next topic is advantages of OOPS. The programs are modularized based on classes and objects, and it reduces the code duplication and increases the code reusability. And it employs real world scenario, and it is easy to code complex programs as complexity can be minimized through inheritance, and it is easy to create an implementation of code. Next is data security. What is data security? Data encapsulated along with functions. Hence, the outside or the external member functions are not able to access the data or to modify the data. Thus, it provides data security. And OOPS can communicate through message passing, hence which makes interface description with outside the function is very easy. This is about the advantages of OOPS. The next class, let's study about the disadvantages and applications of OOPS. Thank you.